Don't adjust your sets, folks. This is the first episode of the NASCAR Daily Podcast under a new name. If you're looking for the Speedway review, it's not here this week. We're under a new name, a new banner, a new logo. This is your Daytona preview show. We're going to share the feed and try to get some more viewers in, and then we'll get this show started. Just give us a few seconds here. Got to share it to our groups. NASCAR Daily is my group that I started with William and Owen and Jordan. Got to share it to Guido, the Guido Nation, fans of Matt DiBenedetto. Got to share it to Motorsports Race Talk, the podcast that my friend Jordan started. His podcast is on Tuesday nights. Going to share it to the Georgia Automobile Racing Hall of Fame Association. Want to thank Cody Dinsmore for supporting our podcast. Share it to the NASCAR racing community. We appreciate you guys coming on. I do have a special announcement that before my special guest here, Owen, leaves us, I'm going to announce my special Cup Series driver that I'll be interviewing next Tuesday right here on the podcast on the McMahon Racing Network. Okay. So we've shared it. We've got some audience. This is the McMahon Racing Network, the NASCAR Daily Podcast, brand new name. And Captain Drive-Thru. How's it going, Captain Drive-Thru?
It's going amazing. I didn't hit no drive-thrus this afternoon, but I did hit one after I left work today.
You know what you did hit, buddy? You and I hit over 1,000 views on our broadcast in Michigan. We brought it, bro. We hit that hard.
We gonna hit higher on Daytona. Why? Because it's the super speedway and it's the track that you never know the outcome.
Flying. This is our Daytona special. It's finally here. It's not July 4th weekend. It's August, but it's the regular season finale, and we're excited. I've got my new friend here, J Mac. He runs his own podcast. Pardon me if I'm wrong, The Wave Around, is that it?
Yes, that is correct, The Wave Around. Every Wednesday, or at least I try to do it every Wednesday. You know how life is, but yes, doing my own podcast, so it's fun.
What time do you do?
I usually drop around. I start recording about 1:30 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time, and then drop it right after. So,
where can fans listen to your podcast?
Right now we are definitely on Spotify and still trying to work Apple. But if they join me on Facebook, they can usually always find. I always post a link to my podcast. So yeah, they just look up The Wave Around, you'll find it.
Nice. Thanks for joining us, J Mac. We got a full house tonight, full roster. It's a Daytona super-sized super speedway jam-packed episode. And if you look to your bottom right corner, I don't know how to point. How do I point? Down there. down in the bottom right of your screen, we have our special guest, Owen Reed. We go way back. We started talking in 2019, and we met at my first ever truck race at Daytona. It's a great picture we have of us there. But Owen, man, I had to bring you on here. You were actually on my first episode of the 2488 podcast this year. You've been right here with me the whole time. Thanks for joining us for this special episode.
Well, I'm glad you invited me on here. I haven't been very active on here throughout the course of the year, but I've been watching it. So you do a good job, and I like your content that you put out there. I'm just glad to be here, and of course, I don't know where everybody else here lives at, but I'm only 5 miles from Daytona International Speedway that way. So that's it gets to be an exciting time of the year, 3 weeks, and then here in August and all. And this time around, I'm literally on vacation. Started today. I'm on vacation all the way until after the race is over and then some. And then you seen earlier before we went live, I had all my sons here, and I got my daughter-in-law, and yeah, I had to say it. And then also I got a bunch more coming in, so we're going to have like 14 of us going to the races this year. So we've made a vacation out of it.
And you're going to Xfinity as well as the Cup race?
I can't do everything. I'm booked up because we're going to be doing some fishing the next couple of days out here. So we got a lot of things going on, but it's all going to culminate down to the race. Everybody in my household has at least been to one race over there at the Speedway. I, on the other hand, have been to 34 races over at the Speedway, and 10 of those have been the Daytona 500.
Nice. Yeah, Owen is my go-to guy. We did a really good episode. The first one was the 24-hour Rolex episode, and you brought me some really good reporting from what it was like down on the track and what the atmosphere was like. So I wanted to bring you on. We talked about bringing you on for Talladega and Daytona and the big races, but what is the atmosphere? Because I lived in Daytona for 3 years, so I know you're riding around. You see how the city changes when Speed Weeks, but also the Coke Zero 400, formerly Pepsi 400. And don't hate me, but I'm going to refer to it as the Pepsi 400 as many times as I want. That's my God-given right, because I'm old. But
he's
Owen,
older than Jesus.
So,
You're not that old. I still refer to it as the Firecracker 400. So.
I knew you were going to say that too, but tell us, man, what's the atmosphere like in Daytona? What's the energy? Because I'm telling you, man, that track is it's like a sleep. When you're living there and you drive by it, you know that beast is just sleeping and it's just humming and it's waiting to be filled with fans and fast race cars. So what's the energy like? What's my Daytona City like, Owen?
Well, believe it or not, you don't get a lot of fanfare from the people who live here.
Right.
A lot of people just don't want to hear the cars on the track. It interrupts their sleep or whatever, But anybody who lives around the Speedway. But I'm far different than most people in the community, so I live 5 miles to the south of it, and if I can hear the cars on the track, which we can from here, if I can hear them on the track, I get excited. But that's just me. Now, my neighbors right around me, they're all on as much as I am. But not everybody can say that. But believe it or not, that track hardly ever sleeps. Obviously, we see the races for NASCAR on there, and we see the TV coverage on there, the Rolex, and all that happens all throughout the course of the year. But then there are many other sports cars events that are taking place throughout the entire year. I actually have a friend of mine who's a paramedic up there at the racetrack, and he serves on that. He's on that deal every week, every day almost, dealing with weekend races and events like that. And you don't have the events going on, then you have Richard Petty's driving experience going on. So there's always cars on that track. That track's always hot, more often than most people know.
Yeah. What I heard from the people that live there is they hated the traffic. They said they hated the traffic of all the tourists that come into town. You were right. They hated the noise, but yeah, man. I just had a brain fart. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, here's what it is. I saw, because I follow the track, I saw that they had an advertisement for pay to drive your own car on the track, like hot lap set sort of thing. Did you hear about that or see anything of that going on?
Yeah, it was raising money. I don't remember what it was raising money for now, but yeah, you can go out and pay $50 and drive your own car around it. I didn't do it because $50, you was only allowed to go around the apron of the track. Well, that takes all the fun out of it. I want to drive up on them banks. So, I didn't do it, but I don't remember what that was about. Of course, national news covered more recently about us losing one of our Daytona Beach police officers who had been fatally wounded about 2 months ago, and they had several different fundraisers for him. That may have been one of them. I don't recall. Anyway, it sounded like a fun thing to do, but like I said, it took away what would have been fun for me. I want to drive around the 31-degree banking over there. I don't want to drive down the apron. Anybody can drive on the apron.
If you look up on YouTube, this guy bought Ryan Newman's 2007 All-Tail Dodge, the blue and white one, and it's not the car tomorrow. It's the old car, and he got the car and the fire suit, and he took that. I'm gonna curse. He took that sumbitch to Daytona and ran it. They made him run the road course though, so he could run the banks, but he had to go through the infield and run the road course. He could. They didn't let them run around the banks at top speed. But he wrecked the left front, or is either the left or the right front fender. He spun it and slid the corner and just popped the wall. But man, that was just so cool to see that car. And they had an old 31 Caterpillar Ryan Newman car. They had an old 31 Ryan Newman car on there. Somebody bought it and brought it there also. I like watching those kind of videos on YouTube, seeing guys run the old cars on the tracks. Yeah, man, it's my sister lives there, and she's telling me the Walmart's always put on the big racing displays, and I'm just wishing I could be in your shoes, man. I wish I still lived up there, because the energy of that place when the race is coming, it's just unlike anything I've ever seen before. So J-Mac, Captain Drive Through. J-Mac, I don't know where you're from. Captain, I know you're in upstate New York. So what do you guys want to talk to Owen about Daytona, the upcoming race?
My question is, what's it really like in the infield? Because I've heard stories. What's it really like infield, like night before race? Because we all know Talladega is just wild. But I want to know how Daytona infield is, the experience there the night before.
Well, I hate to be a disappointment to you, but I know what you're talking about Talladega and what goes with that. But this is a family show. We can't always talk about everything that goes on there. But the Daytona, it's relatively family oriented in a way, but you have your partiers, man. Them people come out, set up their big campers and motorhomes or fifth wheels and everything, and then some people bring in blow up swimming pools and put out there. Some people have an old couch sitting at home, and they'll bring their old couch with them and have it out there, and then they'll party it up all week long because they're out there.
Yeah.
Sunday through Sunday, and it's always kind of funny because after the race has been over, they're known to leave all that stuff behind, and you go drive through the infield after all the RVs are gone, and there's old couches laying out there in the middle of the grass for no reason whatsoever. But it was a party pad.
So I was only in the infield during the Rolex. As much as I was there for the races, I never knew anyone that I could stay within the infield. So I would just try to get there as early as possible to do all the fan stuff outside of the track. And then during the race, if I wasn't sitting up in the seats with my former friend Rob, I would go into the infield, and in turns 3 and 4, they call it Camper City, or like Tent City, I think, because you're not allowed to park big RVs over there. You can only have tents propped up. because there's like certain viewpoint that they use the cameras for turns 3 and 4, so you can't park your RVs over there. So if you're walking through the infield, you come through the turn 4 tunnel, and you come up out of the tunnel, you have such a clear picture of the banking because you're standing on the ground. And J-Mac, I'll tell you, man, I've got pictures of it, but it's the thing it's the thing that NASCAR fans dream about when you're standing on the ground and you look up at 43 cars coming above you, almost like fighter jets on the banking, 2, 3, 4 wide. And I just stood there for like at least 25 minutes, just in that one spot. I didn't care. I couldn't see them throughout the rest of the track. I could hear them, but I just wait for them to come by and took a bunch of pictures. So, and then we went out.
I got a picture somewhere. I don't even know where it's at nowadays, but I was standing right there in 2011. That was not 11. Yeah, I think it was 11. It was the first year that Jeff Gordon ran the AARP colors. I think that was 11, right? And so I was standing right there, and Jeff coming up to turn 3. I turned around, I snapped a picture on my phone of Jeff right there in turn 4, right above that tunnel up on that high bank. I think it was 11, AARP colors.
Yeah, he still had DuPont in 2010. It definitely was the Drive to End Hunger car in 2011. It was new colors. I bought my brother, that was his first race, and I bought him that Jeff Gordon shirt. But we're supposed to be talking about Pepsi 400s. William and I had the idea. Well, actually, Jordan gave me this idea. He was watching the 05 Pepsi 400, and I said, you know what? I'm going to ask our fans, what was your favorite Pepsi 400 moment? Because as special as the 500 is, we all know that if you love Daytona, you don't care if it's the 500 or the 400. You're excited. And the night race, in my opinion, makes it all that much better. Just something about seeing them at high speed under the lights by high speed, 200 miles an hour restriction plate race. You don't get that at Talladega. So that's the uniqueness of it. And then we used to have the 4th of July, obviously. But before we talk about the fan vote, just briefly, take 60 to 90 seconds to tell your favorite Pepsi 400, Firecracker, Coke Zero 400, just one. Captain Drive-Thru, go first.
Mine would be the 2004, and I think that was the year that Brian Vickers spun Johnson and Jr. on the last lap on an accidental. What year was that? Was that 05, right? I don't remember the year.
That was Talladega.
Yeah, that was Talladega.
Yeah, Daytona. Yeah. I thought he spun them. I thought he spun them both in the same year at Daytona. One different nights though. But
Jeff Gordon won 04 in a Pepsi Million car where one fan won like $1 million if he won that race.
My favorite Daytona then would be probably the 2001, from where Junior come from 7th to 1st, and that in a fast pace to get that win for remembrance of his dad. And Mikey Waltrip finished 2nd.
I seriously regret asking you that, and I'll say why in a minute. But J-Mac, go ahead.
Obviously, yeah, 2001. For me, I just came home from basic training for the summer, and I was in basic training when Senior died, so our drill sergeants told us about it. So I was home on leave, and I actually got to watch that one on TV. But for the sake of not repeating, I would say last year's, just William Byron winning and getting his first career win, getting into the playoffs, clutch moment, because we all knew the hype about him. Everybody was saying, like, oh, he's supposed to be like the next big thing. Finally seeing him get that win was pretty exciting because I'm an HMS guy all the way. So it was a good night for me. So definitely, yeah, last year was great.
I'll tell you my favorite part of being there. I actually got to go to that race, but my favorite part of seeing Byron win was not just HMS, but the two 500s I went to was 07 and 2011, and Gordon wrecked out in both of those. So I never even saw him lead one single lap at Daytona. So to see the 24 win the race, do a burnout, it wasn't Jeff Gordon, but it was what I always wanted to see. So Owen, don't say 2001, but other than 2001, what was your favorite moment?
I got 3 of them. I'll tell you why.
90 seconds. 90 seconds.
Okay, 1998. I was in boot camp in 98, and drill sergeant came out there and asked us about if we knew anything about what was going on in NASCAR, and we said, I said, yes, drill sergeant, and turns out, he comes out and says, well, it's been postponed because of the forest fires down here that year. So they moved that race to October, 1 week after Talladega. So you had 2 restrictor plate races in a row in 1998, but that was also the first one under the light in 1998.
I did not know that.
Yeah. The second one stands out in 2015, the year that Dale Jr. won his second of the 2.
Ooh, that's a good one.
The reason that one stands out to me is because me and Dad went to that. It was the first time I took Dad to it. So, of course, that night will be remembered as the night that Austin Dillon got up in the fifth. And then, but even though you don't like it, but my number 1, man, is 2001.
No. It's not that I don't.
Here for us Earnhardt fans, man. We got, we was put through the ringer that year, and that race, it was almost like closure in a way, but and the way that he handled that car, the way that car drove, it reminded me exactly of how his dad drove in 2000 at Talladega when he won that one. So that stands out.
No, it's not that I don't like it. I was saving it for after this segment because it was our number 1 fan moment. And also, it's the 20th anniversary of that race this year. So we were all going to talk about it, but fans, you just got what you wanted without even having to ask for it.
I got one question about that, though. With it being the 20th anniversary, could you imagine if Tyler Reddick in the 8 had parked it, or Austin Dillon in the 3 had parked it?
Yeah, give me the 8.
No, give me the 3. He's better.
No, give me the 8. It's a Dale Jr. moment. It needs to be the 8.
It'd rather be a senior moment because he was the reason NASCAR lived as long as it has.
Give me the 8 because I love Tyler Reddick. So I can't even talk. What is it, Owen?
Well, you get those 2 cars right there will be fighting out for that 16th spot if nobody else wins. So give it either one. It's going to be a battle anyway. That'd be all right. Way to go.
Yeah, so I can't even talk about mine now because it's going to sound like it wasn't 2001, but because I honestly didn't even watch that race. I wasn't watching full time back then. I didn't start till about 2003. I had a couple, and I'm just going to rattle them off, and I'm going to go back to I want to say 84. Owen, help me out. Richard Petty's 200th victory in the Firecracker 400. What year is that? 84?
84.
84. I got it. Yes. That one to me is always a special one, even though it was in the daytime. I love that image of Air Force One landing. Like William said, I love the 2004 because Jeff Gordon won. The 2007, I believe, had that close finish between Kyle and Jamie McMurray, where we got the Harvick, Mark Martin finish in the 500, and then we got Kyle Busch and McMurray in the 400. Was 2 close finishes that year. Was incredible, both under the lights. And then I'd have to say my favorite moment was like 2009, Tony Stewart putting Kyle Busch in the fence to win the friggin' race, man. And it will just always go down in history as one of the greatest. Like, I ate so much Burger King after that because I was just like, Burger King, baby, Burger King, get it. Kyle Busch was such an unbearable tool back then. It was such a huge victory, and to have Tony Stewart win at Daytona in his own car was just incredible. And then I can't really say in the most recent years we talked about Byron. I saw Stenhouse win it in 2017. That was terrible. I just rewatched the Eric Jones one in 2018, and that was a great moment. And now I can't remember who he beat, but he beat someone I didn't like. So I think it was Truex. Yeah, it was Truex. He beat
him by a car length.
Oh, me and my friend were there, and we both didn't want Truex to win that day. And Eric Jones got his first win. And I had been talking about Eric Jones his whole rookie year and his career in the Xfinity Series, and I knew this kid was going to have potential. So that's always going to be one of my favorites. Owen, you said you only got till 8:30, or can you hang out a little bit?
I can hang out for a little bit more, but yeah, get close. Okay,
so I sent you guys some topics about going into Daytona. So let's see which ones we can discuss, and I'll rattle off a couple, and let's see what you guys want to talk about. So a few things I came up with was the last Daytona. Last year's race, there was a manufacturer collision between Chevy and Toyota. There's the issue of managing runs. How content will they be to ride single file? A good topic I picked out, I think we should cover. Owen, I'd like to hear this. Underdogs versus playoff drivers. Will we see playoff drivers take that high line, content to run single file? The underdogs on the bottom we're not happy riding single file. We want to win. We want a playoff spot. We're not going to ride single file. We're not going to take it. I want to see the underdogs try to beat the playoff guys and get that win. I don't want to see a playoff contender win this race. Underdogs versus playoff drivers. What do you guys say? Let's talk about it. Who do we go to first? The co-host, Captain Drive-Thru. Thoughts?
My thoughts are exactly the underdogs versus the playoff drivers. Like we discussed it earlier. Like Matty D, how good he has been at Daytona. Bubba Wallace, he's been actually fair this year, and at the super speedways. Then you got Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon both running for that. So it's going to be a tough battle up front all night long with them four drivers plus the playoff drivers already trying to notch another win to keep them threats that they could claim as out of the playoffs.
So J-Mac, and I want to add our other underdogs are Suarez, Bubba Wallace.
That's what I was talking about, Bubba Wallace, yeah.
Yeah. I know there's a few more in there. Eric Jones. Yeah, Eric Jones is in there. He could win the race and get in, So
there's Ryan Newman.
Yeah, so
there's Newman. Yeah, Newman could easily too. Oh man, could you imagine the fans standing like almost in tears seeing Ryan Newman get out of oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. If he wins this race, I'm gonna be like, oh my god.
And I'll make sure I do screen record so I can share it to everybody, and that one they can watch it over and over. I'll make a meme out of it.
I won't mind, dude. That would be just the sweetest thing. So J-Mac, what's your thoughts, man?
All right, so what I like to do is I always do like a bold prediction before every race. Interesting you said Suarez. That is my underdog is Daniel Suarez. Watch out for Trackhouse Racing. They've been doing good for a new team this year. And then, with them adding another car next year. So I think they're going to go into this regular season finale and Daniel Suarez is going to come out. He's going to win this race. He's going to give Trackhouse, that motivation not only going into the playoffs, but also for next year. That's like my top of the line bold prediction. But realistically, I think that we're going to see the 8 and the 3 battling it out. They might be helping out each other. I mean, I don't want to steal thunder from another topic, but I definitely see them, for most of the race working together, and then those final couple laps, maybe final 10, 15 laps towards the end of the race, if they're still in the race and they ain't got taken out by the big one, battling it out for possibly the win. So those are my thoughts. But yeah, as I say, Daniel Suarez is definitely one to watch out for. I have a feeling about him this weekend.
William and I are going to be calling that race live Saturday night, and I will be telling you everyone that steps out of line and starts charging. I'm going to be calling out those runs as soon as I see them, and I usually catch the ones in the back before the NBC guys do because they only watch the front. So, yeah. Owen, what's your thoughts, man? Underdogs versus playoff drivers.
Well, right off the bat, I'll be at the Speedway and I'll be able to catch them before the TV catches them. So I'll see them beforehand. I just won't be able to report them back that quick. I'll just look over here at the point standings and I see that Austin Dillon is riding in the 13th spot. This is on regular season standings. Mm-hmm. But my thinking is if nobody underneath that cut line right now wins this race, then it's just going to be a battle between the two RCR cars. So that's that. But if any one of these other guys can possibly pull that off, I guess that win in their end, I'm pretty sure will work mathematically, at least a few. Matty D is right there. He's only what is he behind Austin Dillon? He's less than 100 points behind Austin Dillon. Austin's at 652 and Matty D's at 557, I think.
Yeah, but the regular season points don't count. You got to look at the playoff standings because that's where they actually are as far as getting in. The regular season points are much different than the playoff.
Well, my pick here is Matty D. I absolutely love that guy. I just like his attitude. If anything else, that's what I like, his attitude. I was extremely happy to see him get that 21 car here 2 seasons ago, and then every time he loses a ride, you almost feel sorry for him. Because the boy can race. I don't know how old he is. He's a little younger than me, but he's older than coming up. So I'd like to see him one time get a win. Also, though, while it crosses my mind, we were talking earlier about the single file and all that business that, they run up there on the top lane and that's all they do. I don't pay to go see that. I hate that with a passion. I wish that NASCAR would outlaw it, quite frankly, and make them race. But no, they don't. They haven't ever policed that. I think at one time or another they kind of did bring that up here several years ago and try to make more of a show out of it. But the follow the leader business for 150 laps of the 160 that was Saturday night would be just. I want to see them guys go after it, no matter what position they're in, going for the win or going for a spot playoff. I want to see it. Now, last year, I don't remember last year being too much of a bore. It was a whole lot more exciting at last year's 400 than it was at this year's 500. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, I want to see what this new aero package is going to produce. If I read everything right, if I've heard everything right, they've taken the wicker bill off the back of the spoiler, so you'll no longer have the wicker across there. They've probably even reduced that spoiler a little bit. I'm not sure about that, but I think they might have a little bit, and they've also reduced horsepower by making that smaller air intake. So I'd like to see what they do, but there's no test for it. There's no practice, and there's no qualifying. So we, the fans, are going to be there to see the first test session of this package, see what happens. So hopefully it'll turn out and make not only safer because Joey Logano went upside down. That's what made the big stink about that package. Hopefully it'll turn out to produce safety and excitement. I hope so. We'll just have to see what happens.
You know, you brought up a fantastic point, and this is why I love having you on here. You remember things that I forgot. I completely forgot that they made those adjustments to the cars after the Logano incident. So my issue now with NASCAR is if you're running a new package, why aren't we having a practice session with this new package? Because now us as the fans are going to suffer because the drivers may not want to run all out with a package they're not familiar with. So stage one, you're right, is probably going to be like a giant test session. They're going to be taking it real easy. I mean, last year we had a real entertaining, like you said, was very entertaining stage one. Stage two came down to fuel strategy and kind of a single file battle of the manufacturers, which was actually kind of cool because you had three different manufacturers pitting at three different times. Who was going to come out in the lead? And then at the end of stage two, they all caught each other and turned into that big pack. It was really fun to watch. And then stage three was the usual restrictor plate, calamity that we know and love. So, yeah, man, that's an awesome point. But to go back on what you're saying about the playoffs, I keep the playoff picture here in NASCAR Daily, and please follow us at NASCAR Daily and the Wave Around with J-Mac. But we've got Kevin Harvick locked in now in 15th. Last year, the difference of last year, this year, last year there were three spots, was like, I think it was Maddie, it was Jimmy, and it was Byron. They were battling for the last spot. This year it's only one. It's only one spot. And I wish we had 15 winners, honest to God. But the points differential is like this. Reddick is in 16th place with only 25 points above Austin Dillon. So if we have a regular playoff driver win the race, Tyler's got to beat Austin Dillon on the racetrack. No one else is going to get in. Now, behind Austin Dillon is Matt DiBenedetto, 120 points. Chris Buescher, another underdog we forgot to mention. If Chris Buescher and Ryan Newman decide they're going to go to the front, guess what? They're coming to the front, and you ain't going to stop them. Newman is really good.
I can name two cars that would stop if they hooked up.
Larson and Byron, I know.
Larson and Elliott.
No, Larson and Byron are going to be working together this weekend. They worked together not that great at the end in Michigan, but they did form a little friendship there where Larson was, I heard on the radio, he was like, I'm going to hang out and I'm going to help you win this race. So they're a good teammate. I would say Bowman and Chase would probably work together. Chase works with anybody, though. He doesn't need a teammate. He finished second in that race last year, finished second in the Daytona 500. Chase don't need no teammates, baby. Champions don't need teammates. We get to the front. Jeff Gordon didn't need help from nobody. He got to the front. Okay, I wouldn't say nobody, but he didn't get any help from his teammates ever.
You know what made racing better 25 years ago? Was the fact that nobody wanted to race with Dale Earnhardt because they know, they would either follow him because they knew he'd get to the front, or they didn't want to be around him because they knew that he was going to beat them. He raced his life long without having all the help of buddies, and made for a whole lot better racing than what you see with this team camaraderie business. One caller, one driver, get out there and race. Ain't got time for all this other stuff.
Dale Sr. could probably run Daytona blindfolded and still whoop on everybody.
Yeah.
So, J-Mac mentioned, I've got two topics left. J-Mac already talked about it. I want to see what Owen and Captain Drive-Thru think. the Austin Tyler situation, their teammates for RCR, Richard Childress, do they work together or do they find a co-opetition, a friend to work with? You've got Eric Jones got an RCR engine. Daniel Suarez has RCR. Those guys are technically teammates. Owen, what would be your thoughts about Austin versus Tyler at Daytona?
Well, it'll take one of them to have a bad day and the other one's in. Pending that somebody behind them doesn't win the race. One has a bad day, but if they both have good days, I think Tyler's got the edge. So if they run nose to tail, if they run nose to tail the entire race and maintain their spot in the points, come down to the last lap, what are they going to do? Race each other, take each other out, trying to pass each other? I mean, honestly, if I was them, I wouldn't want to be there. I'd want to be racing my race and be doing my thing with whoever gets me farther to the front. That.
Yeah, pretend like they're not even out there. Just hook up with either Jones or Suarez and get to the front, get the stage points, win the stage if possible. Tyler Reddick won the stages. Where was it? At Indy? Was it Indy? Yeah, he won both stages on that good strategy. Got those points. So, and that's a good transition to my final point. Stage points. Do you go for stage points or do you go for winning the race, being in position for stage 3, captain drive-through?
Well, if you're going for the playoffs for the 2 RCR cars, and at first you basically got to get through the race now without taking each other out, racing each other hard for that final spot or being caught up in the big one. But if you're going to race for it, you race for the win because that's what you need to lock yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the whole field. I'm talking about everyone. Are you going to go for stage points? Or are you going to hang out in the back and save your equipment for stage 3?
You want to go for the stage points because, like I just said, that you never know when the big one's going to be happening. If you hang out in the back, there's a chance you're caught up in that.
True. Good point.
So you want to hurry up and get to the front as fast as you can and hope and pray that the big one don't happen before you get there.
Right. Like Austin Dillon beating Reddick last week at Michigan, getting those points, but then he got taken out. So Owen, you're up next. Stage points or stage 3?
Honestly, if you're well into the playoffs and you're locked in and you're right locked into your position, I would go for it all. I wouldn't lag back and protect the equipment. I mean, and what's that, Captain?
He thought you were saying something, William. I think he's just saying Kyle Larson is going to win. I think that's just what he's saying.
I got him. Okay, I didn't know what he was getting at. All right. So, but anyway, no. And Kyle Larson's in perfect position to lose that. He's all the way. He's already up top. So what's he got to lose? So I want to see those guys. If I'm going to be sitting in there paying to watch them race, I want to see them up there and watch them race. So last year, being last year was the first year to be the final race of the regular season, that really ramped up. It did help ramp up that race just because they were going for that final position. Last year, like you mentioned, they had 3 or 4 spots to fill. They only got 1. But and even though that don't seem like that's very exciting, those guys behind Austin Dillon, they're going to go for that win because they know they could knock him out. But at the same time, Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick, they're going to be, if those guys behind them are competitive and try to stay ahead of them, they're going to create a race on their own. Even though it's just one spot, it'll be exciting for that position regardless. So I'm looking forward to it. You can't get here quick enough, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm glad we got Xfinity action coming at you tomorrow night at Daytona. I believe last year was the excitement between Ross and AJ not being able to work together. We were not allowed to go to that race due to COVID. We were in the area, but we had to go to dinner and watch the Xfinity race. We watched it from Hooligans right there on Speedway, Owen.
Yep.
Yeah, we watched it. What is it?
They wouldn't let us in for that race.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they would not let us into the track. The cool thing was, though, Owen, I drove on the back stretch out by the airport in the cell phone waiting lot. There were people parked out there, race fans, tailgating and having the party that they could not have. And I almost wanted to join them. I was so excited. But the date I was with was a buzzkill. She wanted to go to the bar. So I took her to the bar. But if I had been by myself, I'd have been right there with them, sitting on the backstretch. But at Hooligans, I could hear it. I could see the smoke coming up from turn 4. And at least it was really cool to watch it on TV and hear it happening, like not even a block away from me. So that was really cool. We're excited.
I was over here and I had it on the TV, and we could hear them in the background. So we had it on the TV, we could hear them from our house. So it was almost like being there. I could see it on TV and I could hear them.
He had an overrated surround sound system.
Yeah.
That's right.
My sister lived on the 3rd floor in her apartment building. It was on Clyde Morris Boulevard, which is just south of the Speedway. It's about 3 miles south, real close. And the flyby for the 500 was coming, and I was at the track. She was at home. She's watching it with the kids. They're doing the American flag, and before it comes on TV, the fighter jets flew by her window to do the flyover for the track. So she saw the planes right outside her window. Yeah, man, it was really cool. We were sitting at the Olive Garden, which is in the Volusia Mall, right across the street from Turn 4, and I've got it on my phone. And we're watching the Xfinity race on my phone, and I look out the window. There's a crash on my phone. I look out the window, and the smoke is coming up from the Turn 4. It was so cool. Man, so excited. Before I know you got to hop off here. I know you got your family in town. I appreciate you being here. Before you jump off, though, everyone just real quick, pick a Xfinity winner and a Cup winner. J-Mac, let's start with you.
Xfinity, I'm going to go with Noah Gragson, just because I'm also a junior motorsports fan. And Cup, I'm going to say it's either Suarez or Dylan.
Nice. Drive-through, you don't get a vote. You're not allowed to vote.
Why ain't I?
He's been voting for Kyle Larson since the Snowball Derby. Like, it's ridiculous.
Apparently, we know why Kyle's winning, right?
It was a chili bowl. It was the Chili Nationals. Wasn't it? The Chili Bowl? Yeah, Chili Bowl with Kyle Larson. He's been rooting for Kyle Larson. So, Owen, who was your pick to win?
Well, first of all, before I say anything, I want to say it's an honor talking to you, J Mac and William. I see you on the chats all the time here, but now I put a face to it, so that's awesome. I go with the 7 car, Justin Allgaier, because we used to race Justin. He's from my home state of Illinois. Matter of fact, he's from me and him about 29 miles apart from where we grew up. We used to race him. I wasn't never the racer. I was on the pit, a crew member for a team, and Justin was one of our competitors. So I root for him. And then the 9 car. I'm always going for that 9 car. That Chase Elliott car. He's every week. I don't care what racetrack we're at. So even though that he's notoriously known for road courses, he's got Daytona.
Got to give a shout out to my mom's cousin Cindy. She's watching. She's a big fan. Shout out to my mom's cousin Cindy. Thanks for watching. So Owen, can I do the big reveal now?
Yeah. If you want to let me do my pick.
Waiting.
You've been waiting? This coming Tuesday night on the McMahon Racing Network, my special guest star will be former NASCAR Nextel Cup. I almost said Sprint Nextel Cup driver. You guys want to give me like a tap on the table drum roll?
Yeah.
Give me an actual drum roll. Let me hear the drums. Smack the table. Jeremy Mayfield.
Nice.
Really?
Yes.
There you
And I
go.
get down to being there.
Yep.
Nice.
William.
What day is that?
Tuesday night.
8 p.m.
William should be Jordan, and I will be interviewing Jeremy Mayfield on the McMahon Racing Network on the NASCAR Daily Podcast.
Awesome.
Yes. So y'all make sure you tune into that.
I was watching a video last night of Earnhardt's most heartbreaking losses, and one of those was his loss to Jeremy at Pocono in 2000. Oh.
I gotta rewatch some of his old races because I really only remembered the 2004 Richmond win and I think the 2005 Michigan win were the only ones that I really actually saw him live win those races. So I gotta rewatch some of his other victories, but really excited he agreed to come on. My good friend Steve Austin, making a connection with him, and he kind of pointed me in the right direction and making some connections and bringing you guys some quality, some interviews and some great content here. So Owen, make sure to take lots of pictures for us, and if you can do a little live set. Did you get the fan zone pass this year?
I didn't get it this time around. I've been in there so many times. I don't need to go back all the time. We didn't get to go in February because of COVID protocol, but we'll go back at Daytona 500 again. No,
I get them just so I can walk on the track because it's worth the $100 to just sit there on the tri-oval in the banking and just hang out. I've actually got a really funny picture of me and the pre-race at a 500. I'm sitting in the tri-oval and it looks like I'm like in a beach chair and I'm just kind of like lounging because I'm like, I'm home. This is where I'm supposed to be.
I was kicked back there in 2020 and Greg Biffle walked by. He just came walking by. I said, "Hey, Greg, how you doing? Hey, what's up, man?"
Well, Mike, am I allowed to post my picks? I promise I will not choose Kyle Larson.
I'm going to let you do that. I got to split, guys. So thanks for having me on.
Hey, God bless you, Owen. I hope your family stays safe, man, and I hope you guys have a heck of a time at the race Saturday night, man.
We will do.
You got a weather update for us?
Sunny and fast.
I was hoping he had a local weather update for us.
But anyways, my two picks are AJ Allmendinger in the Xfinity and Matt DiBenedetto in the Cup.
I'm gonna be the Mikey in the middle here. I'm the host with my teammates on either side of me. So I don't want to pick someone to win because I have too many drivers that I want to see win. I can't pick one of them. I want them all to win, and I'm not going to be happy unless it's one of my underdogs that I started the season out rooting for. So I'm not making any picks this win for Cup. Xfinity, I would say, it's going to come down to Cindric and Allmendinger like it always is. Cindric seems to be getting the restrictor plates. I'd love to see Justin Haley win. That's kind of cliche. He always kind of wins there. As long as it's a college car or a junior motorsports car, I actually want to see, since we're talking about it, I've got the starting lineup. Maybe you guys want to hear it. I know I like to tell the fans about it, but let's see. So we got the 20th annual Wawa 250 at Daytona International Speedway. And I was hoping they would put the time. The Wawa 250 can be seen on NBCSN or listen to through the NASCAR app on the Motor Racing Network, or you can tune in to the McMahon Racing Network, and we will be broadcasting the race live, flag-to-flag coverage for the Cup race. Xfinity probably jump in about stage 2 to stage 3 because I'm not going to do the whole race if they're just going single file.
Single file grandmas.
So that's going to be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And the lineup is AJ Allmendinger, Noah Gragson, Brandon Jones, Allgaier, Harrison Burton, Riley Herbst, Brett Moffitt, Jeremy Clements, Justin Haley, Jade Buford. Jade Buford had a hell of a finish last week at Michigan. I think
That surprised me.
Inside the top 10. It did not surprise me because he's been surprising and upsetting people lately this season in that 48 car. You got Ryan Sieg, Tommy Joe Martins, who I've tried to get on the show here. I've messaged him a few times with no reply. I've also tried to get Spencer Boyd. He replies, but then he never schedules a time. So maybe I'll keep trying to get Spencer on here. And I forgot to mention to Owen. He mentioned that police officer that was killed. I think he killed or injured. Someone is carrying that officer on their car at Daytona. I think in the Xfinity series. I can't say who. I won't say who because I don't want to say the wrong driver. But just look for it in the pre-race show. I'm pretty sure they're gonna mention that car. Christopher Bell is bringing the 54 Toyota. Look out for him.
What about Chase Briscoe?
At 50, I was getting to it. I got a picture of the car. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you a picture of the car here. We got Matt Mills, Josh Williams, Jordan Anderson. I was kind of hoping someone would drive that 31 car, but I guess it's a restrictor plate. You could have put Josh Berry in that 31. That would have been awesome. And Michael Annette returns. He's starting 19th. Someone named Colin Garrett. Hemrick is starting all the way back in 21st with Sam Mayer, Snyder, Vargas, Alex LeBay. Watch that 36 car. If it doesn't wreck, it runs up in the front. The top 15, I should say. But it sneaks. That 36 snuck into the top 10 a few times. The 4 of Landon Castle, watch for him. Jeffrey Earnhardt, Kyle Weatherman, they won't do anything. Hopefully Jeffrey will finish the race. He tends to not finish races. Blaine Perkins, Mason Massey, Brandon Brown. Man, I hope Brandon Brown wins this race. Let me just say it. He would be my hopeful because I really want to see him make the playoffs and get sponsorship and just absolutely bring it next season. We got David Starr, Colby Howard, J.J. Yaley. Hopefully David Starr won't wreck the leader this time, and hopefully he avoids Noah Gragson. Jason White, Cesar Baccarella will wreck. Chase Briscoe in the 99, Spencer Boyd in the 52, Joe Graff Jr. will wreck, and somebody in the 74 did not qualify. Timmy Hill. That's sad. Timmy Hill would have ran good in that 13. We have 40 cars for Xfinity, though. That's pretty high.
The leader's going to spin his tires, and then he's going to cause the whole field to stack up behind him. It's going to cause the big one.
So,
And I'm going to jinx it like I did last weekend. Mike, I did call this in the Cup race. I said there will be a caution with 25 or less to go, and I called it.
You did, man. You nailed it, too. But I called it, and I said the beauty of Michigan this year was that the 2 road course races made it so much more appealing because we were like, thank God Almighty, we're on an oval. And the point that I called out was that the drivers were going to be real rusty at how to maneuver the draft and the side draft and all that because they've been shifting and turning right and left. Their heads are all turned around. And I called it, man. And what happened with Keselowski and Dillon? Exactly that. Lack of experience, just total, like, bonehead move, like Like, that's not something you expect those two drivers to do to each other in stage 2. So that was exactly what I called. But here's the Briscoe machine. I imagine that's gonna wreck.
Oh, Mike, I've been talking to a former NASCAR driver. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get him on, but I'm gonna attempt to, and I'm gonna try and pressure him into doing it. But I'm gonna push for it, and that it's Carl Edwards.
Don't give me hope, man.
I said I'm not guaranteeing it or anything, but
Shouldn't have even said it. Don't speak it into existence until they say confirmed.
Well, then I'll pressure him. I'll tell him if he don't, I'll find him and I'll hold him down, pinch his cheeks. Man, we'll bring Kyle Larson on the broadcast with Mike. He'll love that forever.
I believe that you could get Kyle Larson. I don't know how, because if I asked him, he would say no, just like he said no to signing my autograph. So
well,
I
me
believe
me and Kyle have been talking on Facebook too lately. I haven't asked him yet, but I'm thinking about it.
I bet you are. And I'll probably let you do that one by yourself. I'm gonna sit that one out.
You gotta be in here.
I'll run it from behind the scenes, but when he's talking, I'll just be going like.
See, you tell that's not a true Hendrick fan. A true Hendrick fan would be obliged to be on any live that there's a Hendrick driver, right or wrong.
No.
Yeah.
I happily hated Johnson for many, many years. Nope. It's got nothing to do with HMS. Yes, that guy.
Mr. 7-time, right?
Yeah.
This is the only HMS driver that ever mattered besides Mark Martin and Casey Kane.
Yeah, Terry Labonte, definitely. Got to add him to that list.
Back in the day, yes, Texas Terry was awesome.
You can't forget about Mark Martin.
I mentioned Mark. I said Mark and Casey.
You did. You didn't say Mark Martin.
Yeah, I said Mark. I said Mark Martin and Casey and Junior Nation, baby, that 88. But he used to make me furious because he was like best friends with Jimmy. He's like, oh, I think Jimmy's the best, man. I helped push him to a win. I'm like, what are you doing? Why do you want someone else to win? He broke my heart. So
yeah, Mike. Like we said earlier in the broadcast, the wreck with Logano at Daytona. You was on live that day because I was on there with you and that, because remember we stated in that as Logano went over, as I showed the replay, I said, yeah, he actually did do the DoorDash Express because he went right across the foot of Bubba.
No. What track?
That was Daytona and that, because they had the high speeds and everything and that, and after that there's when they did the change of the year package and everything.
You and I were live on commentary. We've only done that once. You talking about Michigan?
No, I'm saying we wasn't live for that. I'm talking about in the break, the live after that for the recap of it.
Oh, the recap. Okay.
Yeah, when you showed the replay.
No, man. I wish people had seen. I know you saw me call the Tyler Reddick wreck because 3 and 4 was my corner, and I called it. He was backing up, and I knew it. I knew it was going to cause a big wreck, and I absolutely called it, and I caught it. I love when that happens. Let's get through some. We talked about Xfinity. Let's get through some news topics here real quick. And my son just took out the live feed.
Strike one.
That just took all the wind out of my sails. I wanted to talk about last week. We didn't talk about NASCAR Ignition. Did you guys see the trailer for the new video game?
Yes.
J-Mac, what's your thoughts?
I'm excited. I mean, I got Heat 3, 4, and 5, so if it's better than those, I mean, Heat 4 and 5 is basically the same damn video game. So yeah, I'm excited to see see how it's going to be. You know, I'm all about like customization or whatnot with the cars. So hopefully, you know, they put a good paint booth or something like that in this game. You know, so I can just like make throwback schemes or whatever. Yeah, it's just exciting. It's a new, I believe, a new developer. So yeah, I mean, what's not to like about, you know, especially if it's going to be on the next generation console, which I haven't found yet, and I don't think I'll ever be able to afford one. But yeah, it looks sweet, man. I'm excited.
You can ask Jordan to borrow his PS5. Somehow he got his hands on one. So, William, what do you think of the new video game?
I think it's actually pretty good. The only downfall I found so far is it's only cup. Like it's the actual cars. It ain't got like the dirt on it like Heat 5 and Heat 4 does. That's one of the downfalls to it. But what the plus
dirt. If you want to race on dirt, get the SRX game.
Okay, but the biggest thing I found about it that I like is you get a chance on the one edition to unlock the Bill Elliott car.
Yeah,
there's like a special. I think that you were supposed to pre-order it, and you got a special
Champions edition. I think it's the Champions edition. I think it was like 1994 or 1984 Bill Elliott.
Yeah, something like that. So I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've heard, and I disagree with you, J-Mac, because 5 was so different from 4. I was really good at 4. And William will tell you I was terrible at 5.
Mike couldn't catch me at Martinsville, okay? Just put it that way. I was the man of Martinsville.
We were a demolition derby at Martinsville. No one could catch anyone because everyone was into everyone in every corner.
But I drove away at the end.
There was something wrong with that game. That on road courses in Martinsville, if you didn't adjust the car just right, you were going to be ass sideways in every single corner, and it was stupid. It was so stupid. So
the one corner we ran at Watkins Glen, it was the bus stop. I went through the bus stop, and I was so fast I was completely sideways, and Mike was right there. And you heard Mike on the microphone, and he goes, "This cheating fucker." And that, literally, sorry about the language, he literally said that, and everybody's like, "What are you talking about?" And Mike goes, "This guy's sliding through here. He's not driving, he's sliding."
I forgot about that.
I didn't let off at all. I wasn't letting off for nothing. When I played that game, I wouldn't let off for nothing. If you was in my way, you was either going to get bumped and moved, or you was both going around.
That's something I hope they fix, man, is those road course penalties. I hope you can turn those off because those are just brutal. I mean, you're just barely in the grass and you get like a 25-second penalty. Those are the worst.
What about Sonoma? It was Sonoma we had, and that it was you was ahead of me by 2.3 seconds, and then you had a couple of the other guys back behind us. Athletic Yeti was behind us in third, and then he was like 8 seconds back. And then you went off the grass and you got that penalty, and I passed you for the win on the last lap.
Wasn't it the one where everyone kept quitting and there was like nobody left at the end?
There's only like 4 of us, yeah.
Yeah, everyone was like, "Nope, I hate road courses. I'm out." So I've heard there's some developers on it that apparently come from iRacing, or there's some kind of better graphics studio that's supposed to make it really good. As long as it's competitive for guys, I don't want to rope you in, William, but you know, like our group of ragtag guys had a lot of fun by.
Yeah, we did.
Well, we raced with minimal settings and minimal adjusting. So the easier it is to run, I would say the more fun it is for people just starting out. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to run against guys who are so advanced. They're basically their own crew chief, and it's really hard to run against the custom setup. So as long as it's fun to race online and it's fun to race with like a group of 5 people, it's a NASCAR game, so of course I'm going to buy it.
I'm gonna buy it just to be Kyle Larson and beat Mike every night. And I'm gonna take the road courses when he's Chase Elliott. I'm gonna take the road course with him and see. Look at the true road course king.
I'm gonna wreck you on purpose. I'm not even gonna pretend like, oh, I didn't mean to get into him. I'm gonna unless it's the American flag car he just ran at Cincinnati car. Yeah, I'm gonna trash that Hendrick car every time I see it.
Well, then that's the one I'll buy. I'll purposely buy that DLC that has that on there, so I'll run it every race, so that way he don't wreck it.
So I had the honor of interviewing Ward Burton a few months ago over the summer, and I promised him, like, the one thing I was going to do to say thank you was I saw Jeb Burton's commercial on Facebook for Groove Life belt, and Ward actually showed he had one. So I said, Ward, I'm gonna give your sponsor a shout out. I'm going to buy a belt. And so on all my podcasts, I mentioned the Groove Life belt. It's perfect for, big guys like me. I'm very overweight. And the problem I had with belts was they were just digging, they're hurting, real physical pain. This one is nice. You can see here, it's nice and small. It's adjustable. And it's got this magnetic click. I love that sound. Never get tired of that sound. So look them up at Groove Life. Get yourself a brand new belt. Now, I don't want to plug soap, but Dr. Squatch. And this is pine tar. It smells amazing. It's the funkiest thing. And you buy three of them. What is it?
That's a Florida man's soap. You wouldn't buy it anywhere else.
And ironically, you can't buy it in stores. You got to go to drsquatch.com and you got to order some of these. They come in the mail. I absolutely love this thing. I will not use regular soap anymore. And the last one I'm going to mention is Fanatics, and it's where I've got this Gordon shirt. I got my Chase Elliott hat. Go on Fanatics for all your sports merchandise. They usually have promo codes for free shipping and discounts and things like that. They're always running specials. Football season is starting. Get your football, all your stuff. Don't go to the mall and buy a jersey. They may not have your team, especially if you live in or if your player isn't the most popular player, or you can get a custom jersey with any name on it or your name on it. I got my Florida Panthers jersey custom made. So go to Fanatics. It's where I get all my NASCAR gear, and really appreciate them. Let's talk about just a few news topics before we get out of here. We've got the Kaz Gralla is starting the 16 car at Daytona this Saturday night, and due to Colleague winning that Indy race, they picked up a brand new sponsor, and that car looks gorgeous.
Question is it going to look good leaving Daytona?
Now, I think Kaz got like a top 10 finish in the Daytona 500 something. He was pretty close up there, so I think if he keeps his nose clean and waits for like the last 20 laps, he can definitely sneak up there and at least get on TV at the end. Hopefully he doesn't end up crashed. There was an announcement for my Kevin Harvick fans that we don't see Jimmy Johns on Kevin Harvick's car anymore.
Subway.
Do you know the story on this, Captain?
They got the reason why they didn't have Jimmy Johns no more is because with Kevin struggling, that Jimmy Johns wanted to be on a car that was actually winning and being up front in races and all. With Kevin struggling, Subway decided to take the sponsorship due to that. And so Subway decided they'd run two different paint schemes at two of the upcoming races this season. And that one would be the Kansas race and the other one would be that Bristol race. But I haven't seen the two paint schemes yet. But if I do see them, I will share them to the NASCAR Daily page so that way you can see them and everybody else can see them. But as of right now, the only thing I know is they're running 2 different paint schemes. One's going to be at Kansas, and the other one's going to be the Bristol race, which Jordan Miller is going to be at the Bristol race now. He said he's going to do his motorsports race talk there at Bristol.
That's
that way
good.
everybody can get a live. Everybody's going to do like a live one. And I am going to try and talk to Mike Jordan and see if he can swing some of us on. Maybe if I'm available, I might be able to swing onto that one and do some talk with him, and might be able to throw Mike on there. I mean, the only thing I can do is try and talk to him about it.
I think I'll watch for like the first 20 minutes, see how it goes, and then I'll see if he'll bring me on, because I'm gonna have like 100 questions. Like, what does the track smell like?
The track at Bristol, honestly, on a Cup Series night, it smells like old used up rubber from the night before.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like a fresh night there, and like if you're not like they haven't even had a car on the track yet, it smells like just glory. It smells like any other track you can go to. It smells like fresh asphalt that's just ready just to be tore up and eaten alive.
It's definitely on my bucket list of tracks to see. So my final news topic, it was a bit of a slow news week this week. We've got new paint schemes for those of you who are Bubba Wallace, Eric Jones fans, which I really think it's just me, Captain, and Cassie Cruz. I don't know about you, J-Mac, but we all support Bubba and Eric Jones. They've got Columbia. They both have Columbia on their cars with different paint schemes. It's Tarpoon versus Marlin at Daytona, and I love these paint schemes. I'm not crazy about the logo on the hood of the 43, but sorry, try to get you a good view of it there. But F43 is gorgeous, and it's cool to see those colors on the 23 as well. So
I still like the one they posted in the comments, though, the Air Force car. I like that one better.
Yeah. One of our fans commented and said it will never be better than the Air Force car. What he was talking about was the A10 Warthog 43, which was kind of it looked like the airplane. It was kind of like a flat base, like primer color gray with the angry teeth and mouth and eyes on the front of the hood. Real aggressive looking paint scheme. And he's right. That is. I always loved the Air Force paint schemes. So, Captain, did you have any topics you were going to cover?
The topics I was going to cover is the thoughts of an old DEI driver there, and that about his birthday. I think it was Steve Park. I know it wasn't Steve Park. Yeah, Steve Park. Now about his birthday that just passed. You know, I didn't know that he was still alive. I've heard that he passed away, but then I was told he's still alive. So I haven't heard anything about none of that
yet.
Yep. And the other topic I got is, and at the Atlanta track, how we noticed that the drain that they put in. What's our thoughts on the drain in that? Are they gonna put like little speck holes in the ground for the water to drain off faster, like you had said something to me about, Mike? Or are they just going to run just the base drain at the apron to see if they can get the water to flush down?
I agreed with all the fans, and I was like, leave it dirt. Just leave the dirt. Don't pave it. What do you say, J-Mac?
That's too technically advanced for me.
I agree.
I mean, as long as it could dry faster, we ain't got to wait for the air tightness to go around forever. Just do whatever makes sense. That it's just gonna, drain a lot faster. That's what I say. And so we get back to racing, because we all know that weather in Georgia and pretty much that part of the United States is just crazy. Thus why they moved Atlanta to where they moved it to later on in the calendar. So, yeah.
And none of us want to sit through a rain delay on a Sunday either, because you've cleared your whole day to watch the race. Mm-hmm. Now you don't know what to do with yourself. Do you sit around and wait for it to come back on? Especially if it's a track that doesn't have lights, they're on a they're on a limited time schedule then. And it's like, well, do I go out and do something and, check on it on my phone, or do I sit here and watch a movie and hope that they dry the track? My suggestion was, it's 2021. How have we not been able to come up with some kind of idea where the track dries itself? Like you said, the faster we can dry the track and get back to racing, the better.
It's funny you say that, because I remember a couple of years ago, I want to say it was in Europe. I saw this video, and they actually have concrete or asphalt or whatever that actually dries itself. It absorbs the moisture and it dries itself out. So I don't know why we don't have that here in America, but
because we don't have this.
Yeah, that's true.
And our government takes the money, which takes funds from the tracks and from the local communities in the states, which also hurts our racing or our racetracks, which makes it harder to fund them to do things like that.
Yeah.
Flag on the play. No politics. Time out, Captain Drive-Thru. No more drive-thrus for you.
Going there tomorrow when I get out of work.
So let's just talk about the lineup for the Cup Series real quick, and we'll get out of here. Coke Zero Sugar 400 is the 63rd annual. I don't know how it's the 63rd. They just renamed it Coke Zero a few years ago. But it's the 63rd annual Coke Zero 400. You're going to see that live on NBC this time, not NBCSN. And you can listen to it on MRN in the NASCAR app. Coverage starts at 7 o'clock. I think it might, pre-race might start at 6:30. Check your local listings. Says betting favorites to win. Hamlin is plus 650, Larson plus 1200, and Elliott plus 1300. We all know who Williams putting money on.
Hey, I've already put money on that race. Okay, I better not lose. If I lose, whoever wins, I'm gonna go be their best friend.
So here's my. I already hinted at it a little, but my prediction for lap 1: Larson and Byron on the pole. Okay, Larson and Byron on the pole. Larson's gonna pull out. Byron's gonna tuck in behind him. Then you got the Gibbs teammates of Hamlin and Busch. Then you got Chase and Ryan Blaney. They're friends, but you never really see them work together on the track. You got Martin Truex, that he's either going to be in it or he's going to have an early problem. He'll ride around in the back, and then he'll finish in the top 5 at the end, which seems to be what he does every week. Kurt Busch, if he doesn't wreck, he'll be in it. He's one to watch. Matt DiBenedetto, his career is on the line. Definitely watch out for that 21. Brad Keselowski is sneaky. But what I mean by sneaky is he can not be in the top 10 for the entire 150 laps and then come in either with 2 or 1 to go and just steal a win. And you're just like, I would have never guessed Brad was going to win this race. He's done it at Talladega. He's done it at Daytona. In this race specifically, I hate to say it, but Brad is one to watch, and he's a sneaky one. He can surprise you.
I'll tell you who another sneaky one is. They call him the closer for a reason. It's Kevin Harvick. As long as he keeps that nose clean, I think there's a chance he could be there at the end and sneak it.
He's literally the one right after Brad Keselowski. That's so funny. It's like you sensed it was coming up. Ricky Stenhouse has 2 restrictor plate wins. And,
Mike, I'm gonna stop you right there. It's not Ricky Stenhouse, it's Recky Stenhouse, because every time he goes to restrictor plate, he always ends up wrecking and causing the big one. If not, he takes himself out and then blames the big one for it when it's nowhere around him.
You and I are gonna cheers when we get to call the Stenhouse wreck. And I hope that it takes out Rick Ware Racing and all the drivers we don't care about. So Chris Buescher, Christopher Bell. Bell is one to watch. Chris Buescher, like we talked about, Roush Fenway. Alex Bowman is one to watch. I watched the highlights from last year, and Bowman was running up at the front with Byron for most of that race. So he's one to watch. Chase Briscoe, I would not say is one to watch. You trying to tap in?
Before we get in trouble, my buddy got his StreamYard banned the other day, and that permanently because somebody had a blue can on the screen. They thought it was a Bud Light. Just letting y'all know ahead of time, it is a Pepsi. That way Mike's thing does not get banned. I am showing that I have a Pepsi in my hand and not anything else.
You sure? You showed it earlier and we didn't get shut down, so.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know ahead of time that just in case they do watch it again all the way through it is a Pepsi.
Okay. So Tyler Reddick is absolutely one we're going to watch. We already talked about it. Michael McDowell, they're talking about, this is his first return to the track after his Daytona 500 victory. I pray he crashes because I'm tired of hearing about him.
I hope Ricky Stenhouse wrecks him.
Yep, that would be really great. I could just big sigh of relief, get those two out of the way. Eric Almirola is in 19th coming from the back. Bubba Wallace, Eric Jones. Joey Logano is going to charge the front. I learned that about last year. He won stage 1. He did not care about playoff points. He ran. He blocked. Joey is Joey. He going to race. He ain't going to ride around. He going to race. And
Joey's gonna race until he comes across Bubba Wallace. And when he comes across Bubba Wallace, he's going to take Aaron. He's going to have the DoorDash Express once again this year.
Well, that's one of the things that I actually like about Joey is that he's not a ride around person. He's maybe a little too aggressive sometimes, but it is entertaining to see someone that won't just fall in line. And then you got Ryan Newman, Ryan Preece. Preece is one to watch. He's one that could sneak in there and not win, but he could get that top 5 finish. Cole Custer hopefully will wreck. Daniel Suarez, Austin Dillon, Justin Haley in that 77. Justin Haley has a win in this race. It was rain shortened, but watch Justin Haley get a push from someone and come up and win this race and be like, I earned it, baby, and get Colleague their second win in the Cup Series this year. This is for Spire.
Yeah,
77 Spire. Sorry. That would have been cool though. Kaz Gralla is that option, but if Kaz and Justin get together, watch out, man. Ross Chastain, he's always one of my underdogs. He could easily get that playoff spot and win if he's at the end. BJ McLeod is a Florida native, so I guess I'll give him a shout out, but I really don't like him. Cody Ware, Anthony Alfredo. I don't even like saying their names. Just because I'm just reading the lineup. I didn't intend to. It just popped up on the screen. Corey LaJoie is allowed to compete this week. Garrett Smithley, the 00 shitbag pinball machine. 52 Balicki, the 15, 16 of Kaz Gralla. Landon Castle is in the 96 this week. The 96 will be in this race. No one failed to qualify. Oh, dear God, they put David Starr in the 66 car. Why isn't Jimmy Hill running? Oh, I don't want David Starr in the Cup Series, man. Come on.
I got one good question about this race, though. And, I mean, I'd like both of y'all's input on this, and if y'all can. When would be the best time to start, just going for? Would it be on the start? Or would it be best to hang out, wait around, and then see if you can pick the poison? Or do you just wait till the last lap like Keselowski normally does and just says, I'm here, boys, let's go?
Now, Tony Stewart always did it best. He always hung in the back, 20 laps to go. He started to work his way up through the front. And then you got to be in the top 5 with at least 5 laps to go.
Yeah.
Unless you was Dale Jr.
Yeah. If you were Dale Jr., it didn't matter where you were. Someone was going to push you or you were going to find he always went in the direction where everyone else wasn't. So if everyone was high, he'd go low. Everyone was low, he'd go high. And he just did it, man. And that was what was great about listening to the Dale Jr. download was you get to hear him talk about his method and his strategy, and it made so much sense why he and Gordon couldn't ever work together, was because Gordon was his strategy, but Junior he took every run that was coming, no matter who it was. He didn't care what car it was. That's why he and Tony Stewart used to hook up so much, because they probably just one day, the both of them just say, hey, here's a line where everyone else isn't, and just went. So yeah, I love that about Dale Jr. I'm so excited for this race, guys. J-Mac, you want to plug your Wave Around show? Obviously, I'll see if I can get you on Anchor, and that way you can get your podcast out to way more than just what you're already at currently. But if there's anything you want to plug, mention, or shout out, go ahead.
Yeah, like you said, check me out on Facebook. If you guys just send me a friend request if you haven't already. What you see on the screen, that's my name on Facebook. The group is called The Wave Round, and that's the group. I also have a page. It's The Wave Round with J-Mac. And I'm also a part of the Sandwich Shop with Sandwich Man Racing, Sports Memorabilia, if you guys like NASCAR, diecast, and stuff like that. Because I definitely collect a lot of diecast. So I want to give a shout out to those guys, because they've definitely they helped me out a lot. And of course to you guys, thanks for having me on, man. It was a blast. It's definitely a lot better to actually have more than just me, because I feel like I'm just talking to myself all the time and like no one's listening. But here I can actually, have co-host, or it's like a co-host thing, and it's fun. Hear different inputs than just my lack of knowledge that I have, sitting here researching like as I'm talking. So it's definitely good to have you guys. It's fun. Thanks for having me again.
All right, thanks for coming on, man. William and I, we're just starting out, and we're just starting to build our get the daily podcast going now. So it's good to have a third person. And we usually answer comments that come in live. Tonight, I wanted to get Owen to talk, so I wasn't bringing up all the comments on the screen, but usually we'll answer the fan questions as they pop up, and that makes the show more, freestyle, and keeps things live and exciting. So, Captain, who are you plugging tonight?
I don't have really nobody tonight.
Well, give a shout out to your wife and kids for letting you do this podcast and keeping the background noise to a minimum.
I would give a shout out to my wife, but she's at work. Thank God. I ain't got to deal with her tonight until 11. So I give a shout out to that. She'll watch this later, and that'll be the last time I probably, get to go live. But I got to give a shout out to the dog, because he stayed quiet during the broadcast. He's right there.
Well, how about I ask you then let's talk about our Michigan commentary. How did you feel after doing, you didn't do the whole race. I think you came on stage 3, right? So you did all of stage 3. So how did you feel after your first live broadcast commentary?
I felt like I could have done better. I felt like I let you down a little bit. I feel like I hurt you a little bit, bit. Because that one comment in there, that's what drug me down in that and got me down a little bit. But I've got to learn to ignore the comments.
Yeah.
And just dig deeper into myself.
Every race I do, Cap, I always get one heckler that's like, this is the worst stream ever. And I block them right away, because why are you even here if you don't enjoy it, And I had this one dude that was yelling at me to unmute the TV because he hated my commentary. And I'm like, everyone else here is enjoying it but you. So if you want to watch it, go pay for cable, pal. I'm here to call this race and live out my dream of being a broadcaster for NASCAR. J-Mac, would you be interested in joining me for some live race commentary, man?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what's going on Saturday or whenever, especially during the playoffs. I'm excited about the play. I know we're all excited about Daytona, but I'm definitely pumped about the playoffs.
J-Mac, if you ever want to laugh on race day, Mike McMahon's broadcast is the best broadcast you could ever watch, especially if you get a chance to see Kyle Larson or Martin Truex beat out Chase Elliott. It is the best at the end to watch. He cries, he pouts, and at Watkins Glen, if you watch that, hit a tire, blow a fuse, blow a battery,
Run out of gas.
yeah, run out of gas. And then when he gets back at somebody, slam on your brakes, lock him up, don't let him in there.
Oh, I was begging Alfredo to take him out. He was coming up at Alfredo. I was like, please, God, Alfredo, do something good for once in your life. My best, I wish this had gone viral, but if you watch my reaction at Pocono when Larson blows the tire, I come out of the bathroom. The live feed is running. I come out of the bathroom and I'm like, ah! I start like fat guy dancing in front of the TV.
The wave around. I'll go follow you.
Oh, man. Follow J-Mac, the Wave Around, the McMahon Racing Network. We'll see you guys live Friday night, Xfinity Racing. I'm going to enjoy Daytona as much as possible because we don't get it again until the 500. And then we get a brand new race car. So it's always going to be lots of new things. And I'm not trying to get excited about the playoffs because I just want to enjoy Daytona. It's finally here. I missed the 4th of July weekend, but being there last year was just a whole different energy from the 2 years prior. You could definitely feel the desperation and the need to win that race. There was a real need to win that race that hadn't been there before in years. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank Christopher for helping us by being a good sport, hanging out. You should show him your Kyle Busch shirt sometime. He made me order a Kyle Busch shirt.
I don't want to see the M&M's Toyota, though.
He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the person driving it is not a good person. But we'll teach him. All right, everybody.
Mike, you know how to get more. You know how to get more views and more fans.
Hashtag F Kyle Busch.
That too, but you know how to get more? Put Chris on and let him commentary the race one night. Give it all the fans you need.
No, I'm out, guys. It's bedtime.
All right, later, Mike. See you later, Dave. Mac. I'll send your friend request.
All right. Talk to y'all later.